Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I of course am the FPL train. Now in today's video we're going to be talking about 3 possible transfers we can make ahead of game week 6. I'm expecting this to be a big game week coming up because I think quite a few people are looking at possibly wildcarding ahead of game week 6. So these transfers really, if you're not going to be wildcarding, are probably going to be quite a big week for you. So you've really got to make this week's correct. But before we go through those 3 possible transfers, which of course is going to be a defender, a midfielder and a striker, we're going to look back on game week 5's transfers I recommended. Now, you can see the 3 people there. You probably got a good idea how they got on, but we're going to talk about them anyway. So, first of all, I went for Einar of course, Nottingham Forest. Now, this one, absolute disaster really. Couldn't have gone any worse. He got nothing. Absolutely nothing after having such a cracking start to the season. You know, I was expecting a bit better. Obviously Brighton, you know, away from home was always going to be a difficult game. They conceded 2 goals, he got a yellow card, so he ended up with nothing, absolutely nothing. So if you did go for him, sorry about that, but you know, I did expect better. But his fixtures still going forward are pretty decent, so you never know, he could recoup that. So, yeah, that one was a complete and utter disaster. Unlike Mbeumo though, who absolutely smashed it for us. So, he did score against Spurs pretty much straight away, which is cracking really, even though nothing much happened after that. He still managed to come away with a cracking 8 points overall. Got that 1 bonus point as well, even though of course Spurs did score 3 goals. You kind of expected all Spurs, but thankfully Mbeumo did just about come away with that bonus point. So 1 goal, 1 bonus point, 2 points for appearances. Definitely take that. And again, like with Einar, his fixtures, should I say, going forward are pretty decent. West Ham, Wolves, United, Ipswich, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton and Leicester coming up. And the guy has been in hot form this season. He's already got 4 goals this season. If Erling Haaland wasn't absolutely smashing it with his 10 goals, you know, Mbeumo would be looking quality this season. So yeah, 4 goals in the first 5 games. That is really, really impressive. Unlike Calvert-Lewin though, who's obviously a striker and he's only scored half that amount. 2 goals in the first 5 games, which to be fair doesn't sound too bad. But yeah, if we talk about last game week, you know, he had Leicester City. Now, I weren't sure which player to go for. Was it going to be Calvert-Lewin or was it going to be Jamie Vardy for this game week just gone? I recommended going for Calvert-Lewin and it didn't really matter because both of them blanked. So yeah, it was really disappointing that he did only score the 2 points. No goals from him. No yellow cards, which are kind of, you know, expected because Calvert-Lewin just doesn't seem to, you know, want to put a tackle in half time. But even though he blanked, his fixtures, if you do have him, are still good. Let's not forget this. He's got the likes of Palace, Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton and West Ham all to come. So his fixtures going forward are really good. And he does have Southampton, so, and Wolves as well, but that is still game week 14. But he's got a really good run coming up. So if you have got him and he did blank, don't just sign him straight away. Keep the faith, because if you remember the previous game week, in game week 4, I did recommend bringing in Nicholas Jackson, and he had an absolute shocking performance against Crystal Palace. But then the game week just gone against West Ham, he's only gone and smashed it, got 2 goals and an assist. So it could work out for Calvert-Lewin like it's worked out for Nicholas Jackson. To keep that in mind when you're thinking about making your transfers. Don't knee-jerk. Just remember, if they've got good fixtures, keep them in hand because it could work out a real treat for you. So then, on to the game 6 possible transfers, and the defender I'm going to be recommending to go for ahead of game week 6, and it's a defender I fancy going for myself, and that is of course William Saliba of Arsenal. Reason why I've gone for Saliba ahead of, let's say, Gabriel is literally just because of prices. So Gabriel, I mean, he is looking set to go up to 6.2 million. He's currently at 6.1, where Saliba is still at 6 million. So you're saving at the minute 0.1, possibly up to 0.2. Obviously, if you go for Gabriel earlier, he will go up in price. So you'll be lucky there. But for me, Saliba, the only reason people are going for Gabriel is obviously he's got off to a storming start with 2 goals already this season, but obviously Saliba has yet to score so far this season. He's still quite highly owned at 34.8% Saliba, but you got to look at these fixtures coming up, the next 3 in particular. So Arsenal have got Leicester City at home, Southampton at home, Bournemouth away for the next 3 fixtures. Yes, the 3 after that are Liverpool, Newcastle and Chelsea, but even then I can see clean sheet against Newcastle at St James's Park and at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea, so it's not the end of the world there after obviously game week 8. So particularly the next 3 fixtures, they look really good for Arsenal in Leicester, Southampton and Bournemouth. I expect all 3 of those fixtures to be clean sheets, so there's 18 points in 3 fixtures minimum there for Saliba. Look, you could go for Gabriel. I understand if you go for him. The reason why I'm recommending Saliba, like I said, is just because he's cheaper. Calafiore, you can't guarantee he's going to start. Same as Timber, same as Ben White. You know, those are great options, but you just can't tell if they're going to start. So these are the 2, Gabriel and Saliba are the 2. But for me, Saliba just edges it just because he is a little bit cheaper. When it comes to making a change in midfield, the guy I've gone for here is Jarrod Bowen of West Ham. It might come a bit of a surprise because not many people are really looking at him, talking about him. West Ham haven't got off to a good start at all this season, but one man for West Ham who has a pretty decent start, to be fair, has been Jarrod Bowen. So in the first 5 games we've had this season, he's managed to score 1 goal, which doesn't sound great, but he has also got 2 assists alongside that, and one of them is against Man City, to be fair to him. So Jarrod Bowen, I think, would be a very good shout to go for. He's 7.5 million so far. He's 6% owned just about at the minute, and his fixtures now, and I'm looking at it, right up to game week 18 are pretty decent. Yes, in that run he's got the likes of Arsenal and Man United, but Man United I can see him scoring against personally. Spurs, I would say, yes, they're a tough game, but like I said with Mbeumo, because of Spurs is such a high line in that, you know, you can get them on the counter attack. So like Mbeumo scored against them, I can see Bowen scoring against them. So you're looking at the fixtures currently coming up. Brentford away, you know, not the easiest, but he could score there. Ipswich at home's a nice one. He's also got the likes of Forest coming up, Everton game week 11, then 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 are literally Leicester, Wolves, Bournemouth, Brighton and Southampton. Now you could say, oh my god, that's ages away, why wait till then? But before that, you got the likes of Ipswich, Forest, Everton, Newcastle can see goals. I think they've got Brentford and Ipswich in the next 2 games. I think they've got a good run coming up. So like I said, he's barely owned. Not many people really look at him. People want Mbeumo, obviously, because he's quality at 3. For them that have got Smith Rowe, they want Smith Rowe. You need Arsenal players because of their run coming up in the next 3 fixtures. So yeah, I think he's quietly going under the radar. So for me personally, if you're not looking at him, if you've not got an idea who's to go for, Jarrod Bowen is such a quality player. Look at going for somebody like him. And that brings me on to my last play here. The striker, of course, is Ollie Watkins. Highly priced, not going to lie, at 9 million. He's currently just under 30% owned right now. Now this guy has scored 3 goals and got 1 assist, and it doesn't feel like he's got off to a great start, but that is a pretty decent start. That's 4 returns in 5 games. That is quality. Now in the last 3 games, which is obviously where he's got it from, he has scored a total of 23 points, I think it is. No, sorry, 24 points overall, which is amazing. So if you got him from game week 3 against Leicester, since then you've been laughing up those obviously points, because obviously a lot of people had Isaac at the start of the season. They would have replaced him for Ollie Watkins, and man, I kind of wish I did that. I didn't do that, and I really wish I did, because obviously he's absolutely smashed it. Game week 6 as well, he's got Ipswich. I expect him to do well there. Man United can see goals left, right and centre most of the time. Obviously he didn't in game week 5, but most of the time they do. I can see him scoring against United, as well as Fulham, Bournemouth, you know. Yes, after that they have a couple of tricky fixtures, but for now I think Ollie Watkins is going to comfortably score 3 in the next 5 game weeks I'd say. So he's definitely worth looking at. Strikers I do think are pretty difficult to go for currently right now, because there's not a lot to go for. Obviously everyone's got to be getting Erling Haaland in, then it's like, who do you go for? Jackson's got 2 good fixtures coming up, and after that I think it's difficult for him. I wouldn't go for Danny Welbeck, even though he's had a quality start to the season himself, 3 goals and 1 assist this season. Chris Woods is somebody you could possibly look at going for, to be fair. He's got 3 goals himself this season. Then maybe Havertz, he scored 2 goals and assists this season, and he's got 3 amazing fixtures coming up. Duran, for me, he's just always on the bench. I couldn't go for him personally. João Pedro's not got great fixtures. Neither is Mateta. I mean, Cunha is somebody I would look at myself. But yeah, there's not a great deal to go for. But yeah, Ollie Watkins for me is somebody I definitely would. If I had the money in the bank, I'd get him. If I'm looking at wildcarding in Game Week 6, I'd look at getting Watkins in my team. So those are the 3 transfers I recommend. Obviously, they are, to say again, Saliba, Bowen and Watkins. Let me know what you think of those 3 transfers. Do you think they're going to be any good in Game Week 6? I think they'll do alright, but then again, I said about the last 3 players and 2 were a disaster. Let me know what you think of those 3 transfers. Let me know what transfers you are really looking at going for ahead of Game Week 6, or what players you're looking for in your wildcard team for Game Week 6. Please, as well, before you leave, don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.